cold in here that it's blue because it's cold. If only the snow would let up, I could then talk about the Revenant. If only. Oh, shit. God damn it. What's going on, everyone? My name is Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94. Thank you so much for tuning in to a very special episode of Old Habits Die Hard. On today's show, we're obviously talking about a very traumatic film, The Revenant. If you haven't seen it, well, stay tuned. You're in for a fucking ride. If you have seen it, I'm sorry, okay? This might be rough. With that being said, people, unless there's any questions, okay, cue the intro. Welcome back, everyone. To get this one started, we must read the plot synopsis. I've already checked ahead on Wikipedia, and there was nothing useful really. So let's just read it from the back of the box. The Revenant, 2015. Inspired by true events and winner of 3 Oscars, The Revenant follows the story of legendary explorer Hugh Glass on his quest for survival and justice. After a brutal bear attack, Glass is left for dead by a treacherous member of his hunting team, Tom Hardy. Against extraordinary odds and enduring unimaginable grief, Glass battles a relentless winter and uncharted terrain. This boldly original, epic adventure captures the extraordinary power of the human spirit in an immersive and visceral experience, unlike anything you have ever seen. With that being said, in case you weren't paying attention, folks, this movie is, it's gonna be a long ride. This is one of those movies that takes its time. They let you know early on. If you just listen to the score, for example, there's so many moments in the score where you think it's over. You're like, oh, okay, this song's over. Let's get ready for the next one. Psych, bitch! We're still going. We just, like, man, we ain't in no rush. The band's back there going like, shit, hey, we're ready when you are. Honestly, people, I gotta just be real. The score is fucking haunting. And I had to make sure that we dedicate some specific time for this because it's always stood out for me. Even at the main menu, I've got the TV here muted, of course, because I'm trying to record. When I was setting up for this video, getting my lights and my movies together, all I did was turn up the volume and it's just repeated for 30-second intervals. It's that good. Another positive thing I want to say in the beginning, the actors in this film, they are goddamn transformers. Okay, what I mean by that is I don't recognize anyone in this movie. Yes, there's some names that I know, faces, but if you get lost into this movie like I did, you kind of forget that this is fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, and that's Tom Hardy.
Look at me, Scout.
That's enough!
You're forgetting your place, boy.
As far as I can tell, my place is right here on the smart end of this rifle.
You move along, Fitzgerald.
Shooting this one must have been a goddamn nightmare. There's just no way about it. And yet, for a film so brutal, it's goddamn gorgeous. I mean, just once again, look at the main menu here. Are we just hold in on these shots? And we are in no rush here. We're just taking our time. Don't get me wrong. This is not a movie you put on to fall asleep to. At least I don't. You put this on within the first 5 minutes. I'm engaged and, well, I guess I'm staying up late. We meet a gang of trappers, mostly nameless people Maybe a few familiar faces. For sure, we got Will Poulter, whom you might recognize. Now he's huge. So strange to see him in this movie. Among a few others pickled in there. This is one of those movies that does not hold your hand, even though it's walking slow as fuck. Like, you could almost reach that son of a bitch. It's moving that slow. And since we have a bunch of nameless people, you know what we're setting up for, right? There's a reason why you don't know shit about these people, because why? They're about to get fucking X'd out, okay? These white people are chilling and killing in native territory. So out of nowhere, you know, people getting hit with arrows and axe. I mean, people set on fire. Whew. And get ready for a long take two where the score just drowns out everything and we just focus in on the violence. A lot of people die. And through all this shit, you got Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Hugh Glass, who has a half native, half white son with him named Hawk. I imagine no matter what side captured Hawk, for example, he'd be labeled as a half breed and that'd be it. So, man, I could not imagine trying to get through all this. I admired their relationship. It really just helped guide the movie, at least for some of it. Spoilers. After that, we meet Tom Hardy's characters, who's Tom Hardy plays Tom Hardy with a weird accent, because you know what? That's what he loves to do. That's his thing. Don't take it away from him, okay? Tom Hardy's character is a clear juxtaposition to Hugh. He only cares about the goddamn pelts. Remember, these people are trappers, so their job is to hunt animals, skin them, and then, you know, trade that for cash. I get it, it's his job, but goddamn, fella, I gotta hear about the pelts. I gotta get the goddamn pelts. He's like doing his accent. I love it, despite that horrible impersonation. I mean, he's got some quotable ass lines here. He calls the Native Americans, the locals, which, by the way, should just be called Americans. You don't need to call them Native Americans. Like, they're the Americans. Whatever. Anyway, he calls them tree niggas. When I heard that, I dropped whatever I was doing. I might have been eating cereal or something. So, like, you know, it was so dramatic. I like dropped the spoon and you just ding. Like, what the fuck? That was 10 years ago. No one likes his ass, okay? Even the fucking one in charge, played by Domhnall Gleeson, he don't give a fuck about this dude. Fitzgerald, as Tom Hardy's name. I just recalled it. Fitz fucking Gerald. No one gives a shit about him. So much so that they're just trying to get rid of his ass. We later find out a bit of his backstory. At least it sort of explains why he is the way he is today. I believe he said he fought in the Civil War. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments there. Whatever it was, he fought in some type of battle, and some Native Americans assumed he was dead, went to collect his scalp, and then, you know, he was alive, so he fought them off and killed them. But so from now on, he's just missing a whole patch of skin and hair. I get it, bro. You know, I got mole scar in that area. I get it, bro. It's rough. I am very lucky that I am mixed in today's world. I know it's far from perfect, people, but I can at least walk down the street without being harassed, at least for the most part. Sure, it's happened a couple times, but, you know, for the most part, like, I've had it easy. I can't imagine what it was like back in the day. I know I'm not cut out for it. Let's skip forward a little bit though. So while out hunting, this is like the part that everyone knows the movie for. I feel like if you haven't seen this movie, you probably know it as the one where Leonardo DiCaprio fights a fucking bear. We get a pretty cool fight with Leonardo DiCaprio versus a CGI bear. Everyone jokes about this scene because, you know, they think they know what this bear really wanted. And you know what? I could see some of it, but it just wasn't meant to be. I don't want to gloss over how intense this bear attack scene is. If you can, look up the video on YouTube, you know, without the context, I'm sure. But for the most part, yeah, this is not easy. It's cool, but not easy to watch. Unfortunately, that old saying about, if it's brown, lay down, he did not have the chance to do that. It was fight or flight. The fucking bear came out of nowhere and just charged. The bear gets taken out. Hugh somehow survives, but barely. Come on now, give me my credit. God damn it. Someone.
Nope.
No? Alright. Whatever. Play a goddamn clip or something. Transition out of this. So now what, people? We got a half-dead man we have to carry. And the Americans, I'm using it, yes, from now on in this film, the natives will be known as the Americans. We have Americans chasing us on our ass. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Well, they suggest euthanasia. Unfortunately, no one could go through with it. They should have gave it to Tom Hardy's ass, because he would have did it in a heartbeat. But it comes down to a simple task. The captain decides, I need a few brave men who are willing to hang back with Hugh until he passes to give him a proper burial. Those who do it will get paid a lump sum of cash. So, of course, they're not doing it out the kindness of their hearts. 3 people stay back. Fitzgerald, which, big no-no. Will Poulter's character, and Hawk. Of course, he stays back because he's the son. So now we got 3 people, or 3.5, because we got Hugh here, who's just stuck on a fucking bed, just rotting away. Tom Hardy fucking snaps, people. Shocker, right? Yeah, this sane person goes crazy. What? He wakes up Will Poulter's character, who's just, sleep, laying in the dirt, just trying to get some Z's, wakes him up, tells him, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. The Americans are here right now, charging at us. Leave this motherfucker behind. Will Poulter's such a good person. Of course, he's scared. He's cowardly. Don't get it twisted. But he's such a caring person. He's like, what about Hugh? And what about Hawk? Where is Hawk, by the way? Where is he? People. Before he woke up Will Poulter, I'm talking about Tom Hardy's character, Fitzgerald, he and Hawk got into a little bit of a disagreement and he killed him. Without even really thinking about it, don't get me wrong, this character is completely despicable, but I don't think he meant to do that in a way. Like, I feel like he kind of reacted because he was scared of what would happen to him. He reacted selfishly, of course. Yeah, no, in a way, there was a little bit of regret in his eyes when he did it. Either way, fuck this dude. Jim is the character's name, played by Will Poulter. So Jim's like, no. Tom Hardy's like, all right, fuck it then. Just throws him in a ditch and half buries him alive, just in the dirt and snow. Oh my God. Speaking of snow, oh no, it's coming back. Ooh, shit. Oh. Okay. All right, we can talk about the movie again. Whew, I was worried. Now, Jim still leaves, even though he sees how fucking brutal and disgusting Fitzgerald is. Once again, I said he's cowardly, but he is very apologetic. So they GTFO, and Hugh is left to dig himself out, crawl on the ground. He unfortunately has to, confirm that Hawk is dead, so which he does, and thus the journey truly fucking begins. Now, last time Hugh could stand, he got his ass beaten by a bear. So what are we gonna do here? You just gonna crawl your way for revenge, or how are we gonna get this done? Of course, he has to have that badass man versus nature scene. He cauterizes the wounds using hot rocks and herbs. I don't fucking remember, if I'm being honest. It was cool though, okay? It's very memorable shit, which is ironic because I don't remember. There's a lot going on with this movie, okay? This movie is 2.5 hours. It's not a short one, okay? It's a lot going on. Speaking of short, this review will not be short at this rate. At this point in the film, I think this is when we check in with like sort of the B or C plot. We cut to a bunch of natives. It's a war party on the search for the war chief's daughter who has gone missing. So it turns out that raid in the beginning that was due to that. They suspect that these people are the ones who kidnapped the daughter. Of course, this isn't a time where you could introduce yourself with words. Instead, you introduce yourself with an arrow to the face. You know, it's the times. They want you. I'm sorry, the movie doesn't want you to think that the natives are just being antagonistic to be antagonistic. It's not one of those movies. Even the war chief himself, whose name I did not get, should have done that, he speaks multiple languages. In one of the side scenes, we see him and his tribe meet up with a bunch of, I believe it was French people, if I'm not mistaken. So French traders in the woods, you know, they trade for horses and equipment to pursue, you know, Leonardo's group. Unfortunately, people, I'm just going to tell you right now, the people they're trading with are the ones who caused the fucking. They're the catalyst for this whole goddamn movie. Yes, people, these motherfuckers are trading with the dad of the daughter who they've kidnapped, and how can I put this? They're using her for barbaric reasons, if you know what I mean. Rhymes with grape. Man, oh, this movie, not an easy one. And before we get back to Hugh, who's barely hanging on, I want to mention how fucking trippy this movie can be at times. So, a common thing when Hugh passes out, he dreams about his wife or his son, sometimes both. Mostly his wife, though. And sometimes when she appears, we see her as if she had just fell down from the sky and she's like levitating. It's very intimate and uncomfortable. Oh man, I just props. I gotta say, fucking props. Some of the times he sees a bunch of skulls, like, in the shape of pyramids. I'm assuming that's the natives that were, killed during the onslaught by the white folks. Just whatever. We'll need to get into it, but yeah, it's this is powerful shit right here. So yes, people, this movie's over 2.5 hours, as I stated, and it takes an hour to truly get started. So now we're in for the bumpy ride. So now that the truly sad part is over, the hard part can begin. Getting the fuck out of here. People, I cringe my ass off. As we see early on, he gets his throat slit by the bear claws. So later on, when he's drinking water, it's coming out as blood. Oh man. Speaking of that bear, Hugh decides, let's repurpose this motherfucker. It's dead, so hey, it's not gonna need all that warm fur, right? What's it gonna do with it? Rot away? Puts that sumbitch on, puts the goddamn claws on a necklace. Homie is just hitting his next level. He's hitting final boss type shit, okay? Sorry, The Rock. Don't sue me.
You want to know why you left this glass back there for dead? I'll tell you why. It's because you ain't a man yet. All right? It's because you were scared shitless. You scared now. And put your rifle down.
You lied to me!
I ought to be God to you. Next time you want to shoot somebody, you might want to use the power to prime your rifle.
And even though I've been saying how serious and intense this film is, there's certain points too where we get moments with Hugh where it's silent. Things are just happening around him and he's just a silent observer. Like for example, we see a bunch of elk crossing a stream, and he's holding a stick that sort of looks like a rifle, and he's just aiming, acting like he's shooting. There's just little quiet moments like that. Things that will extend that runtime. But I thought moments like that, I didn't mind it. And shout out to Tom Hardy, who probably the most transformed in my opinion. I get lost whenever he's on screen specifically. My favorite scene in the entire flick has him and Jim. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but those two are around a campfire having a conversation at night. There's this point where he gets to talking about his dad, about how his dad was starving one day out in the woods, or I can't remember where. I'm fucking up the story here, but the cliff notes are his dad was lost somewhere out starving, hadn't eaten for days, went out searching for God. Honestly, it's so great that I'm not even gonna spoil it for you. You might watch the movie and not even notice that this happens, but for me, this is the one that always stood out. So I'm sorry, people. I know you come for a review, but there are certain things we want to leave for you to experience on your own. Be on the lookout for Tom Hardy talking about God. Now you might ask yourself, how in the fuck is Leonardo DiCaprio truly embarking on this quest? How is he fucking able to stand and walk and march his way to revenge? Well, people, to answer that, I would say he uses a lot of skills and ingenuity. A lot of it comes from this kind American he meets on his journey. Those two share a meal, a mud hut together. Who knows what happened? I don't know. There's a little side story in there where these two are lovers. I kind of want that movie. A literal Brokeback Mountain, y'all. I mean, come on now. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but this guy really does help nurse him back to health. He makes a comment about how, you know, glass is rotting away, and it's true. You look at him, he's like green and skin's flaking off. It looks gross. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how there's so much authenticity in this one. For example, Leonardo eating a fish out of stream, just yanks one out, tears into it. When he meets his possible lover in another world, the American guy I was just talking about, dude tosses him a raw liver. Never mind the fact that they're surrounded by a bunch of fire. He's like, bitch, if you don't skewer that son of a bitch over a fire, like, what are you doing? No, he's just gonna dig into it, throws up, digs right back into it. Like, God damn it, nigga, what are you doing? Come on now. He eventually departs and leaves Hugh to embark on the journey alone. These two lovers have to go their separate way. Do you remember that missing girl I was talking about earlier that the French held captive? Well, Hugh just stumbles upon where they're keeping her. Yeah, literally walks into their camp, is able to free her without raising any alarms. When he rescues her, literally, people, she unfortunately is in the middle of something despicable. Honestly, people, if you saw Training Day, which by the way happens to be one of my favorite movies of all time, definitely gonna have a review for this next year when it turns 25 years old, so stay tuned. This scene reminds me a lot of a very important scene from that movie. It goes like this: a white guy saves a brown woman. The brown woman is connected to some other powerful brown people who spare his life later. Okay, that is exactly what happens in Training Day. Who knows who did it first? I don't care. But I know Training Day top to bottom. I gotta comment on something though. There's one point where Hugh passes out. He's sleepy and exhausted. The Americans sneakily approach him, while he's sleeping, and then they fucking hike an arrow at him and miss. Get the fuck out of here. No, that's a huge fucking con. They had pinpoint accuracy the entire movie. Motherfuckers are alive and moving. One dude sleep next to a tree and you can't hit him? Yeah, bullshit. No. That con leads directly to a pro. We get the infamous horse scene, which RIP to this goddamn horse. Hugh literally just fucking decides this horse's life doesn't mean shit. He hops on and they decide to hurl onto a cliff, and that's it. Just good luck. Oh my goodness. You see that cliff over there? He's like, go. The horse. This ain't the brightest horse. Okay, this is not like the horse from True Lies. Okay, that horse knew what was up. This one. But because of that, after the fall that Hugh miraculously survives, yes, he does, he's fine. He has to disembowel the horse, pulls everything out, and then he crawls in. He got his ass crack hanging out, the goddamn horse vagina. Man, it's man versus nature, and this is rough. I imagine it smells horrid there. Just because of him, by the way. Not even the horse part, okay? Just him alone, his naked asshole, just, yeah, no. Yeah, for such a deep, depressing, thought provoking movie, it does overstay. It definitely overstays by, if I had to guess, I would say you trim about maybe 20 minutes out of this. You take it down to about 130 minutes. Yeah, people, I'm all for slow and methodical, but this one can be a bit self-indulgent. So about 2 hours in, we got about 30 minutes left, people. 2 hours in, the group that Hugh was once a part of, they discover that Hugh is alive. And why? Because of a goddamn canteen. This is enough to send Fitzgerald in a goddamn frenzy. He just fucking takes off in the middle of the day. Apparently, Fitzgerald was gonna head off to Texas and possibly re-enlist again in the army. Wonder what side he's gonna fight on. So Hugh and Captain Henry, played by Donald Gleason. I should have mentioned that earlier. It is definitely a Henry in this movie, so respect. He is enough, unlike me apparently, because it's so cold. Remember that plot line? You get this badass quote from Hugh going,
I can't let you go back out there. Not again.
I ain't afraid to die anymore. I've done it already.
whoa, Leo, I'm gonna need you to settle the fuck down. You are being too iconic. Anyway, the captain decides, all right, you know what? This is my mistake. I'm gonna fix this shit. He heads off to find Fitzgerald in the wilderness. Fitzgerald ain't fucking around, takes him out. Hugh decides, all right, I'm gonna handle this myself. And guess what he decides to do? Remember earlier I said he was smart, he had some ingenuity. He uses the captain, right? The captain's corpse. Props him up on the horse, makes him look like he's alive or whatever. Fitzgerald takes him out. Hugh hides on the back of a horse and replaces the captain as the dead body. Man, this is some good shit right here. So Fitzgerald walks up to the horse. Man, I got this son bitch. And then next thing you know, Hugh comes up with a pistol. These two get into a bit of a chase. Fitzgerald specifically, he gets injured. I mean, I think he gets shot or stabbed. Either way, he's leaking bad. But what do you think Hugh Glass is? He's still trying to recover from the initial event. So, basically what I'm saying is both of these two guys are entering a fight and neither are 100%. One of them are at negative 100% considering what he faced, and the other one's just a prick who has this coming. So our final fight is bloody. Yeah, they take axes and knives. If you want to see blood on the snow, watch this. Okay, it's not super long. Yeah, this final confrontation, there's so much weight to it.
You came all this way just for your revenge, huh? Will you enjoy it, class? Because there ain't nothing gonna bring your boy back.
It doesn't end the way you think it does either. You assume Hugh's gonna, deliver this killing blow, bash his brains in or something. I don't know, whatever. Let your imagination run. Remember I mentioned that training day shit? Alright. Hugh wounds Fitzgerald badly. He decides, fuck it. Let me let the Americans have this one. So, people, what a damn experience. The Revenant is not a movie that I watch often, as I'm sure you're aware from watching this review. Thank you, by the way, if you made it this far. But when I do watch this movie, I get pulled in. It's inevitable. Even the ending itself really gets me. Like, it pulls me on an emotional level. After Fitzgerald is, met his demise, we cut in on Hugh and he's just left there to soak everything in. Hugh, again, has visions of his wife, but this time he's awake, people. So, in my mind, I think they're implying that he doesn't make it much longer after this. Like, maybe after Fitzgerald, he just wasted away in those woods. I don't know. That's my interpretation of it. I'm sure he just walked back into civilization and tried to live a normal life afterwards, but in my mind, this motherfucker's dead. Either way, there's some food for thought here. Let's get to the rating, okay? The Revenant, people. After 10 years, 10 long but super short years, I am gonna give this movie, The Revenant, a rating of added to the collection. Yes, people, you're probably not surprised that I really like this movie. It's not my favorite. It didn't get the highest possible rating. It essentially got a 4 out of 5. So, for those who are unaware with my system, it's a little complicated. But with that being said, people, I definitely encourage you to watch this movie at least once. I imagine it's not going to turn out well for a bunch of people who, decide this isn't for them. Sorry for my recommendations if that's the case, but at least for me, in 10 years, it stuck with me. And who knows? I might have to come back in another 10 years and do another re-review. Who knows? Whatever it is, stay tuned with the channel. Whether you want to see my first Revenant review or my second one in 2035, possibly. Either way, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about the movie. Let me know how I can improve these reviews. Let me know what you would like for me to review. I mean, there's so many things with anniversaries this year that I have to check off a list no matter what. But if there's special requests, maybe I could look into it or maybe even do a shorter review. Either way, trying to build a community here, so leave it in the comments and hey, I'll reply. With that being said, folks, I think it's time to wrap it up. My name's Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94, and I'm signing out, y'all. Hey, it's me again, the guy from the thing you just watched. Feel free to check out one of the 2 videos on your screen currently speaking. You can't go wrong with either or. Thank you so much. This time it's for real. Deuces.